Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for the next 2 weeks, October 27th to November 7th, reveal that Kat Green will have a terrifying encounter while Stephanie Johnson's secret goes public. There'll also be some creepy Dimera drama, so let's talk about what's ahead on Duel. While Marlena Evans gives Xander Kyriakis advice during the week of October 27th to 31, Brady Black will take Sarah Horton Kyriakis to a rage room so she can get all her fury out and smash the place to smithereens. Next, Days spoilers say EJ Dimera will learn Tony Dimera has gone missing, so he'll fill Kat in on that shocker. Across town, Theo Carver will have a confrontation with JJ Devereaux, while Abe Carver trades introductions with Liam Selejko, who is his new literacy mentee. Since Liam harassed Theo back when they were in school together, that could lead to a prickly encounter at some point, at least on Theo's end of things. Liam may ultimately offer an apology, but will Theo be willing to accept it? Back with JJ, he'll have some news that Jada Hunter approves of. It sounds like JJ will decide to stay on the police force after all, so that should be exactly what Jada wants to hear. Over with Stephanie, she'll face off with Jeremy Horton before she most likely makes a major realization. Stephanie may determine that Jeremy really is innocent when it comes to who blabbed her Anastasia Sands secret to Leo Stark. Leo will be busy introducing himself to Aaron Green, so they'll discuss Tesoro and the possibility that Aaron is his bio dad. Johnny Dimera and Chanel Dupree Dimera are on the verge of getting some difficult updates, so they presumably won't be adopting Tesoro anytime soon. Stephanie will eventually be exposed as Anastasia Sands, but will it happen as part of the event on her terms, or another, more explosive way? Regardless, Halloween will bring some chaos in the town square when someone tries to attack Kat with a knife. Alex Kyriakis will work to get Kat out of harm's way before she falls into Chad Dimera's embrace. Thomas Dimera and Rachel Black will also be part of the Halloween festivities, so that could lead to them witnessing this ordeal, or at least getting caught up in a scare of their own. Could something trigger a shooting memory for Rachel and make her realize she's the one who pulled the trigger on EJ? As for missing Tony, he'll apparently be conducting lab experiments related to Stefano Dimera. That is, if that's even Tony at all. It could be Andre Dimera if he's still alive and has taken Tony's place. During the week of November 3 to 7, Days spoilers say Chad and Kat may face some temptation. After Kat's close call on Halloween, it could leave Chad drawn to her once again. Of course, Thomas is hoping Jeremy will get Chad to join him on a dating app. Although Thomas would like for Chad to find someone new, it's clear that Chad's heart belongs to Kat right now. As for Jeremy, Days spoilers say Alex Kyriakis will continue to lash out and stir up conflict with him. Alex will keep pushing and pushing, so it'll be interesting to see if Jeremy has really turned things around, or if his anger issues could eventually rear their ugly head. Days of Our Lives spoilers say the next 2 weeks will bring some growing hostility and exciting curveballs, so stay tuned. Days of Our Lives spoilers hint that Xander Kyriakis may decide he needs a new woman. Xander might want to do some sizzling and try to forget the pain of Sarah Horton Kyriakis' divorce decision now that she's done with him. In Days' October 23rd episode, Sarah was adamant that she couldn't keep doing the same old dance with Xander. After all the mistakes and lies, Sarah doesn't love Xander anymore and no longer sees a romantic future together. Since Sarah feels like Xander is beyond redemption, she just called Justin Kyriakis to let him know she's ready to file for divorce. Days spoilers say that's going to be quite a blow to Xander and will make Sarah's decision feel even more final. Of course, no one can rule out the possibility of Sarah and Xander reuniting down the road. Soap couples often come back around after even the bleakest of blow-ups, so Xander and Sarah could still have a new chapter eventually. That said, it's clear that Sarah and Xander won't be getting back together anytime soon. Something broke between them like never before, so Sarah thinks Xander is pure evil at this point and is prepared to move on. Days spoilers suggest Xander may decide to move on as well. So who's he going to do it with? Another love interest could be just around the corner. So will it be someone Xander's never been involved with before, or someone familiar? Gwen von Leuschner feels like she's a better match for Xander and could take this opportunity to pounce on him. This could be a chance for Gwen to remind Xander that he's always going to disappoint dual characters like judgmental Sarah. Gwen is far more accepting and forgiving when it comes to Xander's many blunders. Gwen isn't exactly a new woman, since Xander's been with her before, but she could still be the next lady in Xander's life and offer a different path forward. It'd be a new experience for Xander if he goes all in with Gwen and no longer worries what anyone else thinks. It's also possible Xander could sizzle with Gabby Hernandez after Philip Kiriakis inevitably dumps her over the truth unraveling. Philip may not be willing to forgive Gabby for the planted bug and her betrayal with Tony DiMera, but maybe Xander could commiserate with Gabby over regrets in the end. On Days of Our Lives. Spoilers are in for the week of October 27th, 2025. Fans can expect Kat Green to give intel to Leo Stark. Stephanie Johnson is exposed, plus Liam makes his big debut. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the Peacock soap opera. Let's start off with EJ DiMera. After being alerted by Rita Leslie, EJ knows that Leo is sniffing around too much. The man will want Leo to be taken care of immediately so he doesn't ruin his plans. However, Rita has other things to attend to, and she tends to go to extremes. With EJ and Gwen Rischek von Lochner in cahoots, the man will likely turn to his partner in crime. After all, Gwen and Leo have a very extensive history. Later, EJ shares troubling news with Kat. Then, the blonde goes to warn Leo. Over with Theo Carver, he issues a challenge to JJ Devereaux. Theo likely wants JJ to resign from the police force. However, there are a lot of people counting on JJ to serve the public. It's not like there is a huge police force in Salem and everybody counts. Plus, why should JJ give up his career just because Theo doesn't like it? Who is Theo to make demands on anyone? Later in the week, Theo warns Paulina Price. Let me guess. Theo is going to try to get Paulina to fire JJ if he doesn't quit voluntarily. I don't ever remember Theo being this entitled before. Just wow! Days of Our Lives, spoilers for the week of October 27th, reveal that Brady Black will take Sarah Horton Kiriakis on a field trip. Is this something for Rachel Black? With Sarah wanting a new divorce from Xander Cook Kiriakis, could she end up getting together with Brady? Sarah will confront Philip Kiriakis. Jennifer Horton Devereaux encourages Chad DiMera. Abe Carver meets Liam. Stephanie demands answers from Jeremy Horton. Later, Stephanie and Alex Kiriakis navigate their past. Alex was the one that encouraged Stephanie to get her manuscript published, but now has a problem with the content? By Friday, Stephanie is exposed. Meanwhile, Alex gives Jeremy another warning. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that Sarah Kiriakis has once again broken up with Xander Kiriakis over Philip Kiriakis' beating. Sarah has known all along that Xander was guilty, even though Philip tried to convince her otherwise. Still, Sarah chose to go back to Xander and move him back into the house. Is Sarah just looking for an excuse to get rid of him? Sarah knew what Xander was like when she first started dating him, not to mention when she married him. Sarah still chose to be with Xander no matter what his past was. However, every time Sarah gets upset with him, Sarah kicks Xander out and declares she wants a divorce. What more does Sarah expect from Xander? Sarah doesn't want Xander to be with anyone else, as she has proven time and again. Still, Sarah claims that she doesn't want to be with Xander either. Xander has tried to move on more than once, but he always ends up back in Sarah's arms when he ends up being unwanted and unappreciated every time. Xander has faithfully gone to these appointments and even gone for couples counseling as well. It was after this that Xander felt he should have told Sarah the truth, and she rejected him. What more does Sarah expect out of Xander? Xander has made things right with Philip, and even made him co-CEO of Titan. Philip and Xander are getting along famously. Xander even turned to Philip when Sarah kicked him out. Philip has even offered to talk to Sarah if that would help. Why can Sarah not just get past this? Sarah knows that Victor Kiriakis made sure that Xander was brought up this way. Victor knew that Xander was his son and still raised him to be a thug. Xander is trying his best to get past this and move on. Xander has literally had no support because Sarah keeps pushing him away every time he tries. Sarah honestly sees to be trying to find reasons to push Xander away from herself and their daughter. Xander cannot do enough no matter what Sarah asks because she always wants him to do more. Does Sarah even want to be with Xander at all? Or is she just stringing him along with no intention of staying with him? Xander's horrific actions against Philip leave Sarah filled with rage and Maggie wanting retribution, while two fathers receive surprising news, according to the Days of Our Lives spoilers. And a mysterious newcomer arrives in Salem, just as a major member of the Dimera family suddenly goes missing. Here's your day's video preview for the week of October 27th, 31st, 2025. Sarah is absolutely furious after finding out that Xander has been lying to her and that he actually was the one who attacked Philip, so Brady decides to help by taking her someplace interesting. This is a rage room where you get out all your anger and frustrations, and you just start smashing everything, he announces before handing Sarah a baseball bat. Sarah is on board for the task, so she dons a pair of goggles and starts pounding away at everything in the room. Apparently, Maggie is just as angry with Xander. "I will do everything in my power to send you to prison," she announces. However, Xander issues a warning. "Philip will go right along with me," he cautions. Tension runs high between Abe and Theo as the father and son remain at odds. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" Abe asks his son. Theo counters, "You have not been easy to talk to." Meanwhile, Leo has some important news for Aaron. "You may be my foster son's biological father," Leo informs a stunned Aaron. At the bookstore, Abe and Julie meet a Salem newbie. "Mr. Selinko," Abe greets him. "You can just call me Liam," the man responds. EJ receives a disturbing phone call. Whoa, wow, slow down," he instructs the caller. "I can't understand a word you're saying." Eventually, he finds out some surprising information. "My brother Tony is missing," EJ tells someone in his office. Days of Our Lives has once again put Xander and Sarah on the rocks. It was only a matter of time before Sarah learned that Xander was lying about beating up Philip. The fallout of that happening makes us wonder if the couple is really done this time around. Ever since 2019, Xander and Sarah have been on again, off again. It is the soap way, after all. They have weathered quite a few storms, including Kristen kidnapping Sarah and taking her to Dimera Island, Sarah thinking she was Renee Dumond, Xander kidnapping Susan and Bonnie, and Sarah lying about Rex being baby Victoria's father. However, with time and spate, Sarah and Xander have found their way back together. Unfortunately, Xander always seems to have a hidden secret and an anger problem that gets in the way of his and Sarah's happiness. That was the case again when Xander lied about nearly beating Philip to death. What's different this time around is Xander and Sarah. Part of Sarah knew what Xander did to Philip, but she chose to ignore it and live in denial with him. This has led her to realize, or at least claim, she no longer loves him, and Xander knows it. While talking to Philip, Xander admitted he saw hate in her eyes, and that's how he knows she will never forgive him. All of this is happening just as Xander seems to have a handle on his anger, or is at least trying to become a changed man. This likely won't be the end of Sarah, especially since both Telfer and Godfrey are all in on the pairing, but they won't be reconciling anytime soon. In fact, they will each probably have another romantic love interest before finding their way back together. At the end of the day, though, Sarah and Xander are endgame, and we stand by that. They aren't over for good. They are just on a soap break. What do you think is Xander and Sarah over for good? Let us know in the below comments section. Days of Our Lives spoilers photos for the October 27th, 2025 episode tease tense talks to kick off this Halloween week in Salem. While an angry Sarah sets off for answers, Days of Our Lives spoilers for October 27th reveal that Sarah will confront Philip about his and Xander's lie. It looks like Philip may come to his brother's defense with Maggie. Philip and Xander stand by each other. Halloween comes early for Salem's most well-known Catty, who has a conversation with Brady. Expect a not-so-happy Halloween for some Salemites. Here are 3 major moments to watch out for this week on Days of Our Lives. Salem is reeling after Xander finally admitted to Sarah that he did, in fact, nearly beat Philip to death. Despite the two brothers making amends since, their shared lie ultimately ended Sarah's recently rekindled relationship prompting Sarah to file for divorce. Look for Sarah to confront Philip on Monday, while Maggie tears into Xander for once again hurting her daughter. The ordeal will send Xander into another therapy session with Marlena, but something tells us she won't be able to help him this time around. On Wednesday, Hank Northrup will make his day's debut as Liam, the young man that Abe will be mentoring. Northrup is following in his parents' footsteps on daytime, his mother being General Hospital's Lynn Herring, and his father being the late Wayne Northrup, who originated the role of Roman. Look for Northrup to share scenes with both Reynolds and Tyler Joseph Andrews' Theo. On Friday, as Salem endures both tricks and treats on Halloween, the moment will finally come for Stephanie to reveal she's the Anastasia Sands. It will go down at the book club during her book signing, and that won't be all. At the same, Alex will give her ex Jeremy a warning after Stephanie shares with him what happened between her and Jeremy. Here are your Days of Our Lives spoilers for Monday, October 27th, 2025. Sarah is still reeling after learning that Xander really did attack Philip, despite both men claiming otherwise. She kicked Xander out, told Maggie she no longer loved her husband, and called Justin to file for divorce. But now she comes face to face with Philip and lets loose. Philip already knows what happened because Xander told him. Philip even feels bad for his brother and tries to defend him to Sarah, but Sarah doesn't want to hear it. She can't believe that Philip was nearly beaten to death and still chose to cover for Xander when he could have put him behind bars for years. Later, Xander and Philip both have to face the music with Maggie. When they go to the office, Maggie lets them know that she is taking charge and wants to turn Xander into the police for what he did. Xander reminds Maggie that Philip would also go to jail for fraud, so she'd be sentencing both of Victor's sons to prison. Will Maggie realize that her hands are tied here and she needs to just leave well enough alone for Titan's sake? Now that Brady and Tate have learned to accept the fact that Sophia's baby has no relation to them whatsoever, it's time for Kat to find out if Tesoro is related to her. Aaron can very well be Tesoro's father, but they need to run a DNA test first. Brady runs into Kat at the hospital and apologizes to her for everything that has been going on. Kat says she doesn't need an apology. She just wants to be there for her brother and get to the bottom of things. Will they learn that Aaron really is the dad? What will Aaron do? Will he want to get custody of the baby or still put him up for adoption? That would put a crimp in Johnny and Chanel's plans, but Amy is already doing that. Days of Our Lives fan favorite Lauren Coslo is mourning the loss of her younger brother, Donald A. Coslo, who, according to online obituaries, passed away earlier this year at the age of 69. According to the report, Donald A. Coslo of Mashpee, Massachusetts, died unexpectedly on February 2nd. Lauren paid tribute to her brother on Instagram and Facebook, sharing several photos along with a heartfelt message. "I will miss you forever and a day, my beloved brother. The world is a lesser place without you. No one could make me laugh like you. No one understood like you. Till we meet again." The obituary notes that Donald was born in Quincy to Donald M. and Mildred A. Coslo. He earned his undergraduate degree from Massachusetts Maritime Academy in 1979. His first job was picking tobacco in western Massachusetts before beginning a 17-year career as a professional seaman, sailing around the world. He later spent 21 years in manufacturing at Taptone, Benthos in North Falmouth. Mr. Coslo was a devoted Christian who cherished sharing his faith and values with family and friends. He was a longtime member of the International Organization of Masters, Mates, and Pilots, and enjoyed collecting books, music, movies, and antiques. Donald is survived by his wife of 45 years, Xiaoying Coslo of Mashpee, Massachusetts. His children, Jennifer Farber of Copperas Cove, Texas, and Donald Coslo of Cedar Park, Texas. His sisters, Lauren Coslo of Los Angeles, California, and Linda Finch of Newburyport, and 3 beloved grandchildren. Soap Opera News sends Lauren Coslo and her family our deepest love and condolences during this difficult time. Days of Our Lives fans are in for an emotional treat as new details about Hank Northrup's debut have surfaced. The talented son of Wayne Northrup and Lynn Herring steps into Salem, following in his late father's footsteps while honoring his legacy in a deeply meaningful way. When Days of Our Lives first announced Hank Northrup's casting, mystery surrounded his role. Now the veil has lifted, and the young actor is set to portray Liam, Abe Carver's literacy mentee. This exciting connection puts him alongside the iconic James Reynolds, who plays Abe. The pairing carries special meaning. Hank's late father, Wayne Northrup, and Reynolds shared an on-screen partnership and real-life friendship dating back decades. Hank shared that his dad often spoke fondly of Reynolds' warmth and laughter, and now Hank finally gets to experience it firsthand. He revealed, "James has the best laugh you'll ever hear. We couldn't stop hugging each other." For Hank, joining Days of Our Lives isn't just another acting job. It's a full-circle moment. His father, Wayne, brought two memorable characters, Roman Brady and Alex North, to life, while his mother, Lynn Herring, has captivated fans for years as Lucy Coe on General Hospital. Though his parents initially wanted their sons to stay away from acting due to its challenges, Hank's admiration for his father never faded. He confessed that his dad was his hero and that deep down, he always dreamed of walking the same path. That dream is now a reality, one filled with nostalgia, pride, and healing for his entire family. Before his first day on set, Hank received invaluable advice from his mother, Lynn Herring, who gave him guidance and emotional strength. She has been a constant pillar of support, ensuring her son entered the industry with confidence and grace. For the Northrup family, Hank's debut on Days of Our Lives marks more than a professional achievement. It's a moment of healing and tribute after the heartbreaking loss of Wayne Northrup in November 2024, following his battle with early-onset Alzheimer's. Hank expressed his gratitude for being able to honor his father's legacy on a show that meant so much to him and their family. Hank Northrup's arrival on Days of Our Lives is both touching and triumphant. With passion, poise, and family legacy guiding him, his debut promises to capture hearts across Salem. Stay tuned to Soap Opera Daily for more exclusive updates on Days of Our Lives and its ever-growing family of stars. Days of Our Lives gives Dr. Mark Green back in Salem after a stint in Statesville Prison. And he just applied for a job with E.J. DiMera, who is also the boss of his sister, Kat Green. So, will Mark get a job at the hospital if Kat is able to talk him into spying for her? We know that she and Rafe Hernandez are eager to dig up dirt that Shane Donovan and the ISA want, but so far, they haven't really struck gold. So, fresh out of prison for plotting to kill Chad DiMera, Mark is desperate for a job. He went to the brother of the guy he tried to kill. He asked EJ for a job doing research or working in a lab because Mark has lost his medical license. It looks like EJ is actually going to give Mark a job at his secret lab, hidden behind the soon-to-be-open Dr. Tom Horton Free Clinic at University Hospital. What Mark doesn't know, though, is that his sister Kat has been working for the ISA, and they are specifically targeting EJ. If you're current on episodes, you know that Kat and Rafe are investigating EJ on Shane's orders to find out who helped him finance the purchase of the financially unstable medical facility, and why EJ even wanted to buy the hospital. I'm sure Kat will be happy that Mark got a job at all, but finding out that he's going to be working in the sketchy clinic, well, that could be great for Kat. We know that she, Rafe, and Shane all expect that EJ's up to no good and that this clinic is at the heart of it, but they've got no proof. But Kat's brother Mark could be their inside man. He could give them the inside scoop on EJ's secret science scheme, who's providing the money, and what all is going on. Despite Jennifer Horton and Jack Devereaux writing the parole board and trying to block Mark's release, it didn't work. Now, former physician Mark is on the loose, and he's back in Salem. He's reunited with his sisters Kat and Felicity Green, and his brother Aaron Green, who may be a daddy now. Mark has insisted that he wouldn't have gone through with killing Chad. He's very remorseful that he and Kat got caught up in Clyde Weston's evil plans. The thing is, Mark really felt like he had no other choice but to follow the plan, or Clyde would have killed his mom, Katharina Meliunas. So, even though Mark is out on parole and he's got his freedom, he cannot practice medicine unless and until he gets his license back. However, Kat encouraged Mark to go ahead and submit a resume and talk to EJ about some kind of job at the hospital. But I don't think Kat was expecting this specific job. Mark came in to talk to him, and at first, EJ resisted. Why hire Mark, the guy who was going after Chad on Clyde's orders, especially since EJ hates Clyde and he loves his brother Chad? However, once EJ heard that Mark loves working in a lab and doing research, he was all ears. It was all about his agenda. EJ told Mark that he could have the job if he could follow directions without asking questions and if Mark would sign an NDA agreement. Of course, Mark was a little hesitant, but then EJ reassured him it's privately funded research, so the parolee doctor took the job. Now, I can't wait to see Kat's reaction when her brother Mark tells her that he'd got a job at the new lab. Kat knows the secure room with the fancy keypad lock is not just some medicine closet like EJ claims, because Kat went down and she was snapping photos on Days of Our Lives. This secret new space in the hospital has piqued Leo Stark's interest. Also, if you recall, he recently rescued his former bestie, Gwen Rizchek, when she was trapped there during the blackout. Leo was investigating a tip about the blackout outage and the source of it. That's when he found Gwen freaking out because she was locked in the room with the power off. The electronic lock wouldn't work. So Leo chopped through the drywall and was able to rescue Gwenny. And now, of course, Leo is itching to know what's going on in there too. Unfortunately, Rita, the henchwoman who's EJ's right hand, just caught Leo snooping down there. EJ told Rita they need to deal with Leo ASAP. That could mean a lot of different things to EJ. We might see Leo kidnapped and used as a guinea pig for one of EJ's new secret experiments in his new secret lab. I do hope that Mark will be working directly for Dr. Wilhelm Rolf in this sketchy new lab. I do hope he's coming back. The man is brilliant, and it's always fun to see Rolf in scenes. I know fans like seeing the Demera mad scientist. And speaking of Rolf, I think it'd be a hoot if he and Rita started vibing. They're both devoted to EJ and the Demeras. They're both pretty wicked. They seem to not have a conscience, and they could see eye to eye on a lot of things. I think they could have a freaky little fling that might be a fun little side plot. So, if we see Mark working with Rolf, I'm totally here for it. And I almost forgot. We still need to find out what's going on with Marlena Evans and this possible new Stefano Demera. And if that plays into whatever EJ is scheming to do down in that lab. Is he doing something with dear old dad's brain, or consciousness, or something weird like what Rolf has done before? The Horton Free Clinic opens its doors in November for the 60th anniversary of Days of Our Lives, with lots of guest stars coming in. That's right around the corner. Meanwhile, Kat and Rafe are still trying to figure out what EJ has up his sleeve. They now know that Gwen was down there checking out the construction zone, so Kat and Rafe are watching Gwen, but they can't get too close. But Mark is another matter, since he just scored a job in the new lab. We'll see if EJ has hired Mark on a trial basis, and he only gets involved with the more nefarious stuff once EJ knows he can trust him. Or maybe he'll hit the ground running as part of the nefarious plot. I do think if Kat talks Shane into offering Mark a sweetheart deal, he will take the risk of spying, and they might be able to expose and nail EJ.